Galveston, it is wonderful. It's crazy at times, but it's just wonderful. I love being around Galveston. I love Galvestonians. The people in Galveston are wonderful.
Growing up here in Galveston it was great. You know, I mean, this is an island. How much better can it get? You know, summers were filled with going to the beach and swimming and stuff of that nature. And as I got older, became more worldly, let's say. My godmother lived in Chicago, Illinois, and I think when I was about 11 years old, I started taking trips to Chicago. On the corner from where she lived was a drugstore, and that drugstore had a soda fountain counter. And I remember I went in and I asked for a soda water, an orange soda water. And that's what he brought me, a glass with soda and orange in it. And, oh, it was bitter. This isn't orange soda water. And there was another guy sitting there at the counter, and he says, he's not from here. He wants a pop, an orange pop. There was a difference in language, you know, that I didn't even knew existed, you know, at 11 years old. But growing up here in Galveston was remarkable. It really was.
Well, this place has been here since the 60s. The late 60s. Of course, I wasn't born. I was born in '76, but this place has always been here, and everybody that grew up here in Galveston knows Selena's Blue Room. It's called Selena's Blue Room, and it's pretty much like a old school bar, you know, where people would go and, you know, kind of remind me of Roberts. You know, it's an old school bar and everything. It's been here a while, even before, like I said, even before I was born, but it's a popular place here in Galveston. You know, that people, you know, older people would come and, you know, and fellowship and stuff like that. All kinds of people would visit the bar, you know, different color backgrounds. And because Miss Selena, she was very accepting, you know, her and her daughter, they were very accepting, open arms. They made everybody feel welcome when, you know, when they came in, as long as you didn't start no problems, you know. But I remember as a kid walking by here and seeing the blue light. It was a blue light and said Selena's Blue Room, and that always caught my attention because it was blue lights, and I would walk by, and probably was like 9 or 10 years old, wasn't even old enough to go in there, but I always wondered how it looked on the inside, you know. But like I said, when I got older, then I was able to go in there. Pretty much when we moved here, I started going over there more often because I was doing work for her. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It's back open now. Her granddaughter's running it, and it's totally different than what it was when it was the old school way, you know. They remodeled it and everything, and it looks really good on the inside. And this place, it stood. It stood. It's still here. My very first drag show was here. That was over 20-some years ago, and one of the queens, one of the drag queens, her name was Miss. She goes by Stickpin, but she did a song called Cleanup Woman, and she said, "Hey girl, I need somebody to back me up." So I came out in a long robe with the broom and the little duster and stuff, and I've always wanted to be on stage. You know, that was my very first drag show, and it was here. It was here. And so after that, I got the bug. I always wanted to perform since then. So yeah, and this place has a lot of history, you know, lots of history.
Galveston is an island off the coast of Texas. You know, we're set aside from the rest of the world. And like I was saying, it's just great being born and raised on an island. It's a completely different atmosphere from big city life.
We have all types of ethnicities here. White, black, Mexican, you name it. It's all here in Galveston. And we are just, well, I'm so happy to be a part of an island. Not many people can say that they live on an island in the USA. So I'm just glad to be here.
Hurricane Ike, September 13, 2008.
So Hurricane Carla, Hurricane Alicia, and all the other hurricanes after that. And then the last one we had, of course, was Ike, Hurricane Ike.
Hurricane Ike began forming 4,000 miles away from the Texas Gulf Coast on September 1st, 2008. It would be the 6th consecutive tropical cyclone to strike the U.S. that year. 3 of these storms would hit Texas. Hurricane Ike would form and take the same path as Galveston's 1900 storm, the deadliest hurricane in U.S. history. Hurricane Ike would measure 900 miles wide. The National Weather Service office near Galveston knew early on that Hurricane Ike would become a serious threat to anyone living on the Gulf Coast. "38 hours before Hurricane Ike made landfall, the National Weather Service issued this bulletin warning the shorelines of Matagorda and Galveston Bays that they could expect a storm surge of 15 to 20 feet. Galveston Island, 12 to 16 feet. Life-threatening inundation likely. All neighborhoods and possibly entire coastal communities will be inundated during high tide. Persons not heeding evacuation orders in single-family 1- or 2-story homes will face certain death."
We got a call saying that your house is burning down. My parents, they were like, "What is this, a prank?" They were like, "Your house is really burning down." So about 2 to 3 weeks later, we finally came back to the island, and the neighbors came over. They were like, "Really, your house burned down?" And when I saw the house for the first time, I was shocked to see it still standing. But then when my grandparents and my parents walked inside the house, everything that was of value to me and to my parents and to everybody, it was gone. It was straight black. It was black. It was pitch black.
You would have to be 35, 45 years old, and you wouldn't remember a hurricane prior to that. That was as devastating as Hurricane Ike was. Hurricane Ike flooded 75% of Galveston Island. And when I say flooded 75% of Galveston Island, the north side of Broadway was disproportionately hit than the south side. The north side of Broadway, most of the houses got 6, 7, 8 feet of water. The south side of Broadway, some of them got 3 feet, some of them got 2 feet. I got 1 foot of water. So the further south you went, the better off you were, because Galveston has a seawall that's 17 feet up in the air. So the water actually runs downhill towards the north side, and those two waters met.
The second half of the storm, like I was saying, the second half of the storm, the winds were stronger, you know, and everything. The house started shaking then. I didn't notice the house shaking until the second half of the storm, which was really bad. And that's when the door flew open. That's the main door to the rooms up there. And so when that door flew, and it was a big, huge door, and it was about that thick, the door was, and the wind blew it open. So when the wind blew it open, I lost my windows, everything throughout because I had furniture down the hallway too that I couldn't fit in the room, you know, aquariums and nightstands and stuff. And all that stuff, you could just see it going down the hallway, just flying down the hallway.
For the first time in my life, I saw the community come together as a whole. We had to go to food trucks, the hospitals were closed, and everything was just shut down. But during that time, the community, we all came together to support one another, to just lift each other up.